My name is Finian McGinn. I'm a Franciscan. I've been a Franciscan since, a long time now, 1953, and was ordained in 1960. So I've been a priest, almost 60 years. And I can tell it, my body can tell it's been 60 years. I was blessed because I started to learn languages as a young man. I feel it was the greatest blessing I ever had. I feel it's made me a person that has an ability, not a perfect ability, but an ability to relate to others in different cultures and different languages. I thank God every day that I learned Spanish. And I found that my ministry was twofold, or dual, double. I can remember just that I could talk to a person in Spanish, and if they didn't care to be spoken to in Spanish, I could talk to them in English, and vice versa. I noticed my first 2 years in Fresno as a priest, I went to a family, a real poor family, and I asked them if they would allow me to have dinner with them once a week. And I said I wasn't going to preach to them, I wasn't going to shove religion down their throats, and I wasn't going to spy on them, but I just wanted to talk to them and to see how they ate, how they ate and how they enjoyed one another. And it was a large family, but I felt that was a very wonderful moment in my life, that it had nothing to do with priests, and I wasn't, El Padrecito. I was just another human being coming to their home, and they always knew that I would come on Thursday nights, and for a whole full year I did that. And I looked upon it as a sort of a teachable moment for me, that I learned how to see how people relate. For me, it just made me an altogether different person. I really didn't know Mexicans until I started to work with them. I find it's broadened me. I can remember years ago there was supposed to be a conference of all the Spanish-speaking leaders from the Bay Area, and we met at the Moraga, at St. Mary's in Moraga. And all of a sudden I saw the man who was running this whole thing run up to the priest who was my pastor and saying, Father McDonald and Father McCullough didn't show up. I don't know where they are. And I heard him. He said, "That's okay. Finian will do it." And I heard that, and I thought, "Oh my God!" I wanted to hide. I didn't want to be there because I was afraid he was going to call me. And then he just said, "Finian, they need someone to talk to them for 2 hours on this one subject. I think you can do it." And it was a challenge, and it was a challenge that somebody just thought I could do it and threw me in it. And I didn't do it perfectly well. In fact, I made tons of mistakes. But when I finished, I said, I communicated. And I thought, gosh, I can do this. And what that did, I think, it deeply challenged me to speak better Spanish and to develop myself into a person who really knew the language. And if I never had that challenge, I probably would not be here sitting talking about Spanish. That was probably the turning point in my life. When I was a young priest and I was in Mexico, and I asked an old man, I said, what should I do to relate to the people? I knew they knew I was Anglo, and they sometimes they wouldn't talk to me, and sometimes my Spanish was all messed up. And I said, I'm going to probably work all my life with Mexicanos. He said, love our children, love our elders, and respect them. And I felt for me that was the best advice I could have gotten. And I've tried to do this all my life. And now that I'm an old man, I notice children of people that I buried or I baptized or everything will come to see me, and and we can talk in a wonderful relationship. I think right now I am enjoying the rewards of all the struggles I have had in learning languages throughout my life. So I get a moment before death where I can say, hey, it was worthwhile studying. It was worthwhile making mistakes. It was worthwhile even making a fool of yourself. Because look at the rewards. That's about it.